Hello, everyone. Welcome to our new webinar. We will start in a minute. Okay, let's start. Again, welcome to our this month's webinar. We have again a lot to cover, so I will start quickly. So what we will cover today, what's our agenda today is we will see our new feature, Subflow libraries feature. This is the most requested feature from our community. This will help you to create common modules that you can reuse in your flows. And then we will see the updates in our OpenAI package and some product updates. And we will see our new web recorder, still in progress, but we believe we can just send it to Chrome Web Store next week. Just need some little tweaks. And we will see new packages. Data table package is updated, and Leonardo.AI package will be shown in this webinar. And we will see CapMonster. It is a CAPTCHA solver integration. We will see. And let's dive into the webinar. So Subflow libraries. As I said, this was the most requested feature. If you develop lots of flows, you need to use the same subflows again and again. And what you do was only copy paste the subflows, and if you use it in many different flows and you need to update it, you have to update in every flow. Now with the Subflow library, you can reuse the subflow. So it is a different, it is not actually a subflow. We called it Subflow library. And in the project dialog, you will see a new tab, My Libraries, here. And you need to click this new library button. It will look like a subflow, but this is actually a project. And when you save this, it is saved as a subflow, not a project. There are known issues that we will talk about. We will iteratively develop this subflow, also getting feedbacks from the community. But let's return to the single function. So after creating the subflow, you will see your libraries here in this tab. And in your flows, how you use it, just right-click in the context menu. You will see Add a Library button at the end of this. But you can also write the name of the Subflow library. And this helps you to search the Subflow libraries, and it helps to get only the names containing this string. And when you click, you will add your Subflow library in your flow. You can't enter into this Subflow library because it is a project. It is not a subflow inside your flow. When you double click it, it will open as a new in a new tab, and then you can edit this. Now let's see how it runs. This Subflow library is a very simple one. It opens Google and gets, it goes to this link. We will give the city name as an input, and it will create this URL, and you'll get the temperature from Google with get value nodes. There may be different uses of the Subflow library. We are also new to this feature, so we are still learning how to use it. I will just show you some ideas that we come up with, but you can create your own usage of these subflows. So here, this subflow will need an input, of course, and this will be coming from the message as a city name, and the output will be temperature and description, so that we can use it in here. Let's run this. Which city? Let's say Istanbul. And then it returns the result in a message box. So this is Subflow library, but it only features just one function, getting weather. Another idea may be to use multiple functions here and use a switch here. I use the Subflow because after the release, we encountered a problem with the packages that we will solve tomorrow. This is this release, just a new release today, so we see some minor bugs with the Subflow, but we will fix it tomorrow or in this week. So I am using Subflow here, but the same idea can be used in a Subflow library. So here you can use a switch, and for example, you can input a method field with the message and use that in your switch to do different functions. So it will actually become a subflow library. You can create many subflows here, and with the switch, you can use these functions in your one subflow library. So this is an interesting idea that I liked, so I created a flow for this. This uses OpenAI to get the city name from a code. We just create a prompt here. I also shared the prompt source here. This is a very nice idea I liked, so I chose to use it in this subflow, in this example. So what you do here is you create a prompt. Tell me this name for this zip code, and only, and not a sentence, just return the city name. This is just the prompt, and it returns the result. ChatGPT returns the result, but we turned this into a web service. So here we get the zip code from the URL. Let's run this and see how it works. So we will use curl. So the endpoint here in HTTP in is zip to city, and it gets query parameters. So let's run this. So ChatGPT returned the result. There is no database here. And another interesting usage of OpenAI from a web service is this prompt. So you just enter a celebrity name here. This is a nice idea. Again, I shared the source here. You can check that. So with this prompt, you enter a celebrity name, and with the ChatGPT returns this info as a JSON format, and we return that to the service. Now let's run this. Let's ask Tom Cruise. Oh, okay. Let me stop sharing my screen and then present it again. Entire screen here. Let me share entire screen. Now you should be seeing the whole screen. Sorry about that. So let's run this again. It returns the JSON. And now let's again run for Tom Hanks, and it returns this. So let's run for the zip code again, and you will see the output Austin here. Okay, Latif warned me in the background that I was not sharing my whole screen. Now you can see the results here. So let's continue. So this is This was about Subflow library. As I said, this is a new feature just released today. There are some minor bugs we have seen before this webinar, and we will fix this quickly as possible. So there are some known issues. We will develop these also and add these features. So currently Subflow libraries cannot be shared. And there is no versioning currently for the Subflow libraries like the flows. There is no versioning. And also, if you have a flow using a Subflow library, it can't be shared, it can't be opened. It is hard to debug, but this is the nature of libraries. Actually, if you are using an external library, it is actually hard to debug a library. You expect it to just work, so you can develop your Subflow and then create a Subflow library out of it. But the good part is any change in that Subflow library project changes in every project. So this is what was expected from this feature. So let's continue. So we have updated our OpenAI package to make its usage a little easier. It was a lot low level. Now it is much easier to use. The first thing we have added is it now keeps its history. It now keeps its history. You don't need to keep track of the history and add to the history array yourself. The node just keeps the history. It gets the history. If you can provide the history, it accepts it. But if you do not provide this history, the output will be written into this variable, and it will be feedbacked into it again, and it will continue keeping the history. Let's try this. So let's ask, what is 5 times 5? So it turns 25. Now let's say, now add 100 to that, and we get the result. So you can see, as you can see, it keeps the history. You can talk to with ChatGPT just using these two nodes. It's much easier to use. Let's stop this and let's continue. Another improvement to the packages, we have added the whisper feature for the OpenAI's whisper feature that translates MP3 files or audio files to text, or it can translate any audio file to English only. But let's see how it works. So I have downloaded a German MP3 file from this URL, and we will use the connect node, and we will use the audio create transcription. This creates the transcription out of the audio. This will be in German, and this one will create translation of it into English. Now let's run this. Okay, now this is the transcribed version, and this is the translated version. I also tried with different languages. It can only translate to English, but there is no Google Translate or any translation API between here. The Whisper API just translates from audio to text. What we are trying to do here is we are trying to create some dubbing feature. We have also integrated 11 Labs package that maybe will be featured in later webinars. With that, you can, after the transcribe, you can give that text to 11 Labs and you can create an audio, or you can also create an audio voice cloned by you, and you can create your own voice. We are trying to create example usages of this. So we are trying to create a dubbing feature, for example, for videos. you will be able to do this with the packages when finished. So let's continue. Okay, this is an advanced example. Hope it works. This you will see a lot actually at Product Hunt. Maybe every day a new product comes out that tells chat with PDF file, chatting with text documents. So this is actually I shared references also. You can check this check this link to understand this better. What we do in a very plain format, we just turn the text documents from embedding module to vectors, and the vectors related to each other are segmented in some part of a vector space. For example, if you are turning a soccer or football related text, and if you ask something related with that text, what you do here is we before processing this, we create an embedding by using the OpenAI's embedding API. We will see how this works. We extract a text from PDF. I also shared the PDF we are using here. Let me also show that. We will work on this English fairy tales. We use our extract PDF to text, extract text node here. And then after we extracted the text from PDF, we use create batch embeddings. Here it will take the text as an input. Sorry, the PDF as an input. No, again, we convert PDF to text, and then we input text here, and it turns it into CSV. We keep it simple. Currently, we are just using CSV file format to keep the vector data, but we are also working on some vector database packages that you will be able to store these vectorized text documents, and you will be able to search in that. But this is a very simple example. We just create a CSV file, and then we ask something to the document. The text here is also sent to the embeddings API of OpenAI, and again, it is translated into a vector data. And then what we do here is we use the similarity node here. There are a lot of text inputs from this fairy tale document. So we can't send all of the data to text GPT. So we need to find the related regions, sections from that document. That is what we do with the similarity node here. The question asked is turned into embedding vectors, and it searches similarity with the text here, and it returns some paragraphs. For example, you may say maybe 5 paragraphs or 10 paragraphs. We pick here 7 of them because we can't send more. There is token context limits of ChatGPT, and then we create a prompt out of it. Here's the context for you. This is the collected text data from our vector database, our CSV file, and then we again ask our question here. Now we tell ChatGPT only answer from this context, and it does it. Now let's run this. So this is the fairy tale. Let's wait. Okay, now the flow started. It extracted the data, now creating the embeddings. Here, it should update it. Okay, now it updated the embedding CSV file. We can also look into this one. It is just an index. The paragraph, the text, splitted, and then the vector data should be, it is very long here. Yeah, the return data for this section of the text. Now let's ask something. Who is Milky Way? Yeah. Let's ask who is Jack. There are many stories here. You can ask some. Let's try to find something from here, something to ask. Milky Way did work before, but created the new embeddings. I don't know why it didn't work. Who is Milky Way? The call. I don't know why it didn't work. Why did Jack decide to seek his fortune? Let's ask this. This was something we tried also. It returned something from the document, but there are many Jacks here, so you need to pick the right words to find the right paragraphs. So this may be a little hard. Maybe we can segment the text also. Yeah. So this is how this works. Now let's continue. You can try different texts with this shared flow. Maybe one text, one article, and you can ask questions about the article. Let's continue. So OpenAI functions, this is also recently added to our OpenAI package. This is a very powerful feature. I hope I can show this here with this flow. This is the most difficult flow in this webinar. Hope it works. So let's try to understand what OpenAI functions is first. So as you know, you can ask many things to OpenAI, but you can't ask them to, for example, search something in Google and return the data. Recently, they have added the plugins. That's actually what this function is about. Here, they provided an example. So you ask the model something, what is weather like in Boston? ChatGPT cannot answer the weather in Boston right now, but with the help of the functions feature, it can respond to you with something, and you can then use that function and then return the result to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT at the end answer the question by the help of these functions. So it returns you when you send a request to ChatGPT. It responds you with function call. So it tells you you need to call a function for me to answer this question. So, but it helps you with the name of the function you need to call, and also it provides you the parameters for this function. How does ChatGPT knows which functions to call? It is actually what you provide to it with this functions feature at the beginning of your conversation. This is an array. You tell ChatGPT that you have the tools to do these operations. So you have a method named get current weather, and you tell it just one sentence description of this. This is a one shot or maybe zero shot learning, and it then, when you ask a question and ChatGPT decides that this is a job for this function, and it returns you not with an answer, but asks you to call that function. And after calling that function, you return to ChatGPT with the result. Like here, for example, here in the OpenAI example, you returned with 22 and description of something sunny. How you did this? You asked a weather API, for example. Now we will use this feature in this example. And also we will use an assistant to run this. Let me open my assistant. Let me start my robot from the screen. Assistant robot. I need the assistant robot for this. I need to connect it. So I will use it from the bot console. Just a second. Now I have connected my robot. This is the flow, but this is an assistant flow. So we deployed it to bot console before this webinar. Here, the OpenAI function. Let me first explain the flow for you. So here at the beginning of the flow, we give three functions to ChatGPT. The first one is get current weather. It will return the weather for the given city. Another function here is scrape YouTube videos. We can give a YouTube URL to ChatGPT and it will scrape the data, the videos, the views from that YouTube channel, and it will return the result as a CSV string. So we don't provide anything about the CSV. We just tell ChatGPT to return the result as a CSV string. And the third function is CSV to Excel. These are just descriptions, nothing else. This is how ChatGPT works. We give the method name, we give the description of the method, and the parameters the method gets. How ChatGPT uses this? It creates the parameters out of your sentence you ask to ChatGPT. So if you ask what is the weather in Boston, ChatGPT extracts the Boston as location and tells you to call get current weather function. So we just connect in the assistant, we ask a prompt, we will send that prompt to ChatGPT. Now here, if ChatGPT asks us to call the function call, we will continue from this side. If it is just an answer to any question, then finish reason is stopped by ChatGPT and it returns the response text directly to you, and we just show that text in the assistant flow. But if it asks us to run a function, then we can use a switch function here. We can compare the function names here. If ChatGPT asks us to call get current weather from the question, we can do that here by these subflows. And here, these are simple subflows. Again, opens Google and it returns the result in this structure, the name and the returned parameters to the ChatGPT. We will see how we pass this to ChatGPT, but just see all of them. This opens YouTube channel, scrapes all the data and returns the content from here. So we created the CSV content as I see, and then return that to ChatGPT. And here is, this is not convert JSON to Excel, this is convert CSV to Excel actually. And then we get the CSV from ChatGPT as a parameter and then write it to local file system, read it as a CSV, write it in an Excel and upload it to Assistant. Now let's see how this works. And it returns the result again to the ChatGPT with this message function. This is the result from calling our own tools for ChatGPT, and this is returned to ChatGPT with this function call. Now I will run this from here, from bot console. As I said, this is very complicated. Hope it works, but it worked when we tried. Now let's see how it goes. Okay, let's start with simple ones. For example, who is the last president of USA? Let's ask to ChatGPT. It returns the data. We did not help ChatGPT here. It just knows the answer and returned the result. Now we can ask, what is the weather in Istanbul? Let's ask to ChatGPT. I didn't use headless Chrome, so we should see Chrome opening if this works. But I don't see it is working. Let's try again. is the weather in Boston? Okay, it now goes to Boston, goes to Google, return the result, and it returns it 22 degrees and it says it's sunny. So we help ChatGPT to get this answer. Now ask another one. Now let me ask it from my prepared questions. Yeah. So we will ask ChatGPT to extract the videos from this channel, YouTube channel. So it goes to YouTube. It goes to videos. It goes to the popular tab and now starts extracting the data here. And now we expect it to return the results to here. It just sends all the collected data to ChatGPT, so it requires some time. Also, you need to not pass the token limit. So you can here, for example, use GPT 8K or 16K here. It takes some time. Still waiting. Yeah, it returned the result. So it returned the results here. So we can ask something about this. For example, what is the most watched video and why do you think, what do you think about it? Why do you think? Yeah, let's say, why do you think? So it is this one. Yeah, it returned the correct one and answered my question. Now we can ask, can you turn this can you turn this list into Excel? Let's ask this and then hope it works. It takes time to carry out the context because we are now passing all the history to ChatGPT again and again. So here we are waiting for create chat completion. There is a bug in the flow, so we can see the Excel file. I don't want to waste a lot of time here, but yeah, the path is wrong. This is the fixed one, but maybe I can. No, I will not waste time here because we have a lot to cover. The path is wrong. The deployed version of this was old one. I fixed it, but I run it from my local machine, so it failed to create the whole path for it, so it didn't convert it. Maybe we can see, yeah, we can see the Excel here. It was just supposed to be uploaded to here and you download it from here, but we can see the generated result maybe. And it couldn't write it because the path is wrong. Okay, we can pass this one. I will share the flows with you and you can test locally. But as you can see, we can create tools for ChatGPT, anything you imagine. So you can do a lot of tasks by using just natural language. We could do this before with button groups. The assistant can ask you what you want to do, and then you can click a button, and this can be a rule-based automation. This can be done, but here you're talking with the assistant, and by using the OpenAI, you can do lots of tasks by just talking and providing the data in the sentences. The OpenAI can just pick the correct ones and then pass these into your functions and you can use them. So this is very powerful. So let's continue. Some product updates. Let's open that. Three one. Yeah. So we have added scrape table node to browser. This will help you to scrape tables from web pages. This was done. This can only be done with Transcribe before. You now can only write the expat selector for the table. For example, for Coinbase, let's see table here. You can just inspect this table here and get this tables expat. This is a very simple expat. I copy the expat and paste it here. This can be, or you can find a better one. There is just only one table here. So as you can see, the result is 1 and the table is enough here. You don't need an attribute. So here for the scrape table, you can just write the selector here, expat selector. You can also use a CSS selector. And then you can also write the excluded columns here that you don't want to be included in the scrape table. Let's run this. I closed the blue steel robot. So let me again connect it. So let's run it. So it opened the Coinbase. And then the output should be, what is the Excel path? Crypto prices. Here, let's see what's inside. So we scrape the table, the data with just one node. The web recorder also uses these nodes, but you can also use them manually. So let's continue the scrape list node. Let's see the example for that. Scrape list node is similar to scrape table, but it is used to scrape data from non-table structures in the web page. Let's see this page as an example. So here there is no table, so we can't use scrape table here. But the way we can scrape this one is by finding a common box used in this page. So as you can see, this Li item is the common box that is used here. So what we do here is we just copy the expat of this common box. This is very complicated, but we can just do this one. Data. Okay, the example also does this for us. Scrape list. So this is the first selector is for the list boxes selector. So there will be 12 or 16 or more boxes in this page. It doesn't matter. You just need to find the common box selector for this data to scrape the data, and then you can add sub items here. So if you want to get the link, you will need the A elements expat relative to this Lee box. So under this, as you can see, the list, there is only one A. So what we can do here is use only that. Let's close these. This one relative to this box, and you can get it easily. And this one is the price. Let's see the price here. Let's see the price here. As you can see, item price can be used, span item price. Here it is used. The model and the image, all relative to box. And now let's run this. Again, web recorder uses this node. Now let's see the file OLX cars. Oh, we can see the undefined file here. The previous example. Okay, it is here. The output of the YouTube channels. Yeah. We return 26 only to not pass the token context limit, but as you can see, we get the output here. So it created the wrong directory because it couldn't find our username, but it's created here. So let's find this OLX cars example. Here is the output of this flow that uses the scrape list item. Yes, the model, the image. The image here is not, these are empty because you need to scroll the page. This example is a simple example. You need to, what we did in the YouTube video, we just scrolled down and down and all the items appeared in the page, and then you can run this scrape. You can add that into your flow and you will get these links also. So let's continue. And web recorder. Let's see it. Now this was also asked a lot to us. Our community requested a recorder, and we have been working on it for maybe 2 months now, and it is almost finished. As I said, we will release it to the store next week, and it has some minor things just left, but let's now see how it works. So let's start with the inspect feature. So here with the click element node, as before, you can just inspect elements. And when you go to here, you will see the outlines. And because this is click, you can go to here and you can right click here and you can see the click element here. Single click, double click, what you want to do. It returns the XPath and it should return. We also, let's see the set value here. Again, let's try inspect element and set value here. Again, it should return. This is just the inspect. This is just the inspect feature. There is not much here. For the scrape table, let's go to Coinbase. For example, you need to scrape this one. You can add scrape table here and do the XPath selector manually, but also you can go to this extension and then start this recorder. You will see the web recorder here. We will see a step-by-step example later, but for here, just to scrape the table, you can start recording, and then in here, because this is a table, when you right click here, you will see many actions here, but one of them is scrape table. If you click this, you will see the scrape table is added here. You can continue, for example, you can also add click here. You can also add type text here. You can change the order of it. So you just continue adding new actions here, and then you can return this to the flow designer. Also, with this scrape table, when you go to this edit, you will see the expat selector here. You can edit this. You can select maybe more options. Maybe you can find a better expat, but this works. You can also write here and see if it works, but as you can see, table is fine. You can click here, select more, but the simplest one, if you mess all the expat here, you can click reset. It will return to the first found expat, but you can go from below to top and you can create your own expat either manually or also by just selecting these. Also, because this is scrape table, we will see the scrape list. You can also see what is collected here, just the 10 rows, and then you can use this option to, for example, remove the unwanted columns here. And if you just save it and then finish here, it will return here as a subflow. And when you click here, you will see that it is just a regular flow for you. And yeah, you can run this flow. We will see it in the next example. We will run it now, and let's see a step-by-step example. Let's remove this one, and let's go to the site again and try to create a flow out of this. So again, just click start recorder here and then click record. When you click this record button, it will start highlighting the elements here. You can pause and continue. I can show a couple of examples, but we will just see how it works. We will create an automation and run it. But we also try to add, for example, we can understand the iframes. So we can add switch frames between the nodes. Also, we can understand switch window. For example, let's try again Garanti Bankası. I only know this, that they use when you go to another page, web recorder will also come there. Start recording, and for example, let's click here, click element, and when you go to this, it opened a new tab. And as you can see, it added a switch window. So you can click here. There are some minor issues with the CSS. The CSS data in the web page is injected to our extension. This is what we are working, and we will fix this and release the web recorder with some minor fixes also. But as you can see, it added a switch window here. And you can also reset this if you like and continue that. Now let's refresh this. The recorder is always active until you stop or cancel it. Now let's try to create something here. We are in the main page of it. Let's write Hondo cards here. Let's use type text and then custom, and again Hondo cards here. So we will write this and we will click this button. and then let's click it. We just close that feature here. We can follow the actions automatically, but if you click anywhere, it adds click, click, click. I don't like that. So maybe we can add a toggle here to stop that feature. So we use the manual approach here, just add the actions we like. Now we need to scrape this table. What you can do here is first, for example, get the model name with here. As you can see, now you can get the attributes as well. So if you need to get the link of it, you can use just get value with href attribute. Also, for example, for images, you can get the source of the image with this. But what I want to show you here is after type text and click element, we can get the model name here. That's just a single get value. But now you can, if you also get value to this second item here, the recorder understands that you are trying to scrape something, and it asks you if this is a scrape attempt. And if you say continue, it turns these get values into scrape list. Now we added the model name. Let's continue with the price. Again, we need to select the other one. And we have added the second column. We will rename them later. And now let's pick the kilometers. And now let's see the table. Now we can rename these. And let's call this model. And let's call this price. And let's call this year and kilometer. And now let's save it and let's finish it. Okay. Now let's see if this works. Oh, Latif warned me about adding a weight element, but I forgot that. Now let's add a weight element here. Maybe we can do something here. We can, I don't know why it didn't return, but it should return. So we can add a weight element with inspect, but let's see if it works. Weight element to appear, save. Come on, it worked in our tests. Now what we can do, we can just use again recorder, record, and weight element to appear. Let's finish this and get it from there. And I'll delete this, add this here, and then delete this one. Okay, hope it works. It weights the H1. Let's run this. Okay, it opened. The page load takes some time. The flow should be waiting. The weight element is the weight element. Why it didn't work? 5 seconds was not enough for that page. Let's make it 30. I don't know. It takes a lot of time for that page to finish, I guess. Expert looks correct. Weight element is correct. Let's try this again. I think we placed it in the wrong place. The type text should work, but why you do not work? The expert. Because when we get the expert, there was the data we wrote there, because of that it is failing. There is no Honda cars written there. Okay, now it should work. Also, we placed this click the wait element in wrong order. Yeah, it doesn't click because it waits. The order is wrong. Let's do this again. Let's do this again. And try to do this right this time. So we need a set value here, and then we will click here. Let's write the cars, and then we will wait for this to appear. That's okay now. Again, we need to do this. Okay. We are in scrape mode. You can cancel and continue, but we are now in scrape list mode. Okay. Let's rename them again. And oh, it will work this time. Year, kilometer, and then the price. Pause and finish. Yes. Now let's run this. Yes. We are still waiting. We didn't write the value here. Just seconds and it will work. We just want Honda cars. How it should work. Yes, clicked the search, scrape list, and finally we have the file here. What is the name of the file? Scraped. And this should be it. Yes. And finally, we get the file. This is just another box in the list that just says rent-a-car and nothing else. Okay, now we can continue. As I said, we expect to release this next week, and we will continue improving it, and it will get better and better. And we appreciate your feedback for it to improve it further. Now the data table package. This package was previously built on Pandas library, but we switched that to a C# based data table. This is well known actually in other RPA tools. So we wanted to use a familiar data table for RPA developers. So with this, as you know, we have an internal table format. When you read an Excel file or CSV file or data from Google Sheets, we have an internal table structure, just a JSON data, but you can't process that data easily. You need to write lots of JavaScript code functions, even to filter or sort something. Now you can do this easily with data table package. And also we have an advanced feature, LINQ query. So if you have a table JSON, you can use LINQ query on that data. You can sort, filter. This is an advanced feature we will see in these examples. So let's start with basic filtering. So here we have a file. This is actually from this page. I will show you the file downloaded from there. So it is a real world Excel. So you can download this file from that link. What we will do on this Excel is we will filter the data. For example, we will filter only the segment from government, and we will sort, for example, gross sales here, and then write it into another file. So for the basic filtering here, what we do is just use a filter like this: segment, the column name, and the string government. You can, for example, use discount bigger than 500 or 5,000. You can also filter like that. You can filter, I think you can also use and or, but I am also new to this package, so I can share examples later, but you should be able to use and or here. The 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 thing you need to do is, we added a new option here, raw value. There's a description here, a long description. What this does is, in this Excel file, not this one, let's close this and open it again. In this Excel file, before this raw value, our table just returns, our get range returns this data, this string data, dollar 32 comma this exactly seen this data as a string. So there was a problem sorting that data with this string format. So we have added a new feature, raw value feature. This will return just the data, not formatted data, but this exactly the cell value with this raw value selected. The thing you may find interesting is the date format. This will also not be returned as string. This will be returned with the Excel's internal structure that is just an integer starting from January 1, 1900. Yeah, it starts from that day. The integer is 1, and every day it adds 1 to it, so it is now at 43,000 or something like that. So it is an integer value if you use the raw value return, but it also helps to sort this volume, because the date is increased by 1 every day, so you can sort it, also use it to sort the data. So here just you need to select the raw value here to use the filtering option. And then now let's run this. Okay, it finished. Now let's see the Excel's name. It is financial filtered XLSX. So you can see just the government here. It is filtered. The other data is filtered. And let's continue with sorting. 5 to basic sorting. This is simpler because when you sort the data, you get exactly the same number of rows after sorting. So for that, we use the same Excel to write the value. So this is the financial XLSX. Yeah, we will write just here again. Let's see the financial XLSX. I also keep the original file here. If we miss something, we can start over. So let's sort the sales numbers. And now we also again use the get range with raw value, sort table. Let's call this sales. The column name must be matching the get range output. So if you are using headers, not JSON file, it should be actually sales, not lowercase. If you use JSONify, it should be lowercase, but let's see if this works. We will set range, use set range and save the file. Okay, so I think it is sales. I don't know why. It should be the uppercase, but let's see. Am I doing something wrong? Open Excel. Financial XLSX, XLSX. Financial XLSX. I remember that. I think the sales has some space characters. I remember. Yeah, here as you can see, there's a space here. Just we can delete that and then save. That was the problem. The other columns, if I pick Cox, it would work. But yeah, now I think uppercase sales should work. Yeah, let's try this again. Yep. Now let's see the sorted file. We wrote over this one. Sales here, yeah, it's ordered, as you can see. So the number of lines is same. Because of that, we wrote over the same file. But for filtering, it would not work because it will write to the middle of this file and the other rows should appear again. So we used to write to another file for that example. Now let's continue with the LINQ one. This is not easy to use. Rohat worked on it a lot. We were also new to this. We don't know C# and LINQ very well. So it requires some programming knowledge, especially C# programming, but it is powerful. Maybe you can use ChatGPT also to create these code for you, but it is powerful because you have a JSON data and you can use this code to sort and filter and do conversions, anything you like with this code. And now let's run this. I think we will. It writes on to financial. Let's delete this one and create from scratch an empty one. Because JSON data does not keep any styling. What we do here is we use an empty styled document and write the filtered data into this document. Now let's run this again. We do this also in our automations. We keep a template file, copy that template file to some place, and then write data onto it. So you will get a nice formatted Excel file. So what we did in that LINQ query is we filtered with the government, and then we sorted the data also. I don't know which field. Let's check that. In the LINQ query, gross sales should be filtered. Yeah, it should be sorted. Yes, as you can see, it is sorted. It is filtered and sorted without using any notes. I was going to say without coding, but this is coding actually. This is C# coding. If you don't want to code anything, simpler sorting and filtering is possible with these sort table and filter data table nodes. But this is very powerful. You may find it handy in your projects. So let's continue. So CapMonster, this is also another CAPTCHA service we use. This service uses AI to solve CAPTCHA. Some of the CAPTCHA solver services use human power at the background, but this uses AI. We will see how it works. So there are two ways you can use it. First, let's open the example. 5 for CapMonster. So in this example, we will use the CapMonster package. Here you can install it from our packages dialog. There are many nodes here that you can use to solve an image captcha, a fan captcha, H captcha, or reCAPTCHA. We will solve reCAPTCHA here to use as an example. Here is the page that we are going to solve the captcha. So we open the page and then this subflow runs. Let's see how it works. So we just create a session. You need your CapMonster API key, and when you log in, I can't show you the dashboard because they do not hide the API key. Unfortunately, they just show it clearly, but there is just a short string, and you add it to your vault and then add it to this create session node. And we will use solve reCAPTCHA. To use this, you need two variables here. The first one is website URL. So you just copy the URL of the CAPTCHA page here, copy paste that. That's it. The other one is website key. You can find it with inspect and just search in this page CAPTCHA or site key. Yeah, when you search the site key, you will see this variable. Copy it and paste it here. That's it. And when you run this, it will create a task ID for you. We will use that task ID. We call the output solver. So we can add a debug here to see the output of it. And then we use the get result with that solver ID and check the response. If the response is processing, we sleep and then get the result again. We sleep and get the result again. If it is completed, if it is not processing, actually, it means we get the result. The result is a token that you can use to pass that page. And we use that token to use the text, to set the text area. We will see a much simpler example later without doing anything, but this is how you use the node approach. So the text area is actually, you can find that also text area. We need to set that return token to this text area. This is a hidden text area. And then after you click submit, it will work. If you don't set that text area, it will say, please verify you are not a robot. Now let's run this. Yeah, we added a debug there, solver. We are still waiting. It takes 30 seconds to 60 seconds to solve a CAPTCHA. There is no images you see in this page. It is just done in the background with those site keys and the web URL. You send this data to the servers of CapMonster. They will open a reCAPTCHA with those parameters and solve it and then return you the token. It may take 1 minute or more sometimes, but as you can see, we are sleeping 3 seconds and then again and again. It says processing, that's why we are waiting and waiting again. Hope it works. Yeah, now, yeah, it clicked. It set the text area with the return token. We can't see it. We didn't put debug at the right place, but it then clicked. As you can see, verification is successful. It takes some time. So this is one way you can solve reCAPTCHA. I also will share these flows that you can integrate in your flows. The other approach is interesting. We will use the extension of CapMonster, and then solve it with the help of extension. So there is nothing here, just open browser. We have a user data there set before. What you need to do here is you need to open the browser with a user data there. This is just an empty directory you need to provide. Let's see it. Because I run it before, this was an empty directory. Chrome saved the profile in this directory now. And after opening the browser, I just installed the extension here into that browser opened by the flow. And after closing the browser, we have installed the extension and it is kept in this profile. Also, into the extension, you need to add and save your API key from CapMonster. I can't show you that because they are showing it in clear text, so I can't show you that. So now what we are going to do is just use this browser that is prepared before with the extension and the API key. We just open the page. That's all we need to do, nothing else. But after the CAPTCHA is solved, we need to do something. So I find a way to wait something to appear and then click element. Let's see how this works. Now we will see the extension in action. As you can see, the extension clicked the button and it will start selecting the lights. This is how CapMonster extension works. They use AI also to solve this. As you can see, it worked. So this is another approach you can solve CAPTCHAs with CapMonster. Let's continue to the final one, Leonardo.AI. We have added this recently. We tried to add every feature of it. Let me find the docs, Leonardo.AI API. I can also show you it's a cool app. Yeah, the docs are here. So the nice part of Leonardo.AI is you can see all the prompt. If you click here, you will see the prompt, negative prompt. There are many publicly shared examples here. They are very powerful. And we implemented all the API, but the problem with their API is we were talking this today in our channel. They are not sharing all the parameters here. So the API way of creating these images are not as good as these ones, but we will also solve that. We also talk with their developers and also in our community. We can find the missing parameters and use them, but let me show you how it works. So here, you need to install the Leonardo.AI package from here. Just right-click and install it. And you need to get the API key from their dashboard here. You need a paid account for the tokens to generate. And also, I need to show you this one. We use two ways to create images. One is with prompt only. So we just write a prompt and it creates an image. The other way is we used an image and give the Leonardo a prompt and create an image same looking as the the given image. So this is image to image generation. This is prompt to image generation, we may say. So with create generation, Leonardo.AI package here, you can create a generation with this node. What it means is, let's go to AI image generation page there. If you write something here as a prompt, enter a basic prompt ID image generation. Sorry, if you write your prompt here, car, something like that, and you can generate it. It will appear. And also, if you use the API, everything appears here. Yeah, you can generate from API, and you will see the images here. There are many parameters you can play with. We also tried the parameters a lot to create good looking images. There are different models. For example, in Leonardo.AI, you can click the used models here. If you click here, this image and these images are created by the Dream Shaper model. If you click view more here, you can also see the model ID of this. Why I am showing you this? Because we have added some models here that you can just select here. For example, these are the models we have added. So we know their model IDs, but you can also use a custom model ID, and you can set the model ID here. So this was using Dream Shaper V. You don't need to enter a model ID here. Now let's run this. Let's see the prompt example first. So let's see the prompt also. The prompt is like this: cartoon cute Rottweiler, white background, 12K. This is also copy paste from an image we liked in the shared shared place. Let's run this. And let's go to the webinar page. Again, this is similar to CapMonster. You create a generation. It creates you a generation ID, and you wait for it to be generated. You just use the get generation, and you switch if it is still pending. And if it is completed, you can go to the generated. Here in the generated part, we download the generated file. Let's see what it generated. So the name was prompt image. I think this one, yes, the time is, yeah, this is the image. The second one is cooler. So what we will do here is we will use an image to generate another image. So we use the upload image node here, upload image node. It returns an image ID, and in this create generation, we will give the image ID here. This is the uploaded image to Leonardo.AI. They return us the image ID, and then we can pass this to image ID here. This init strength means, let's see the description here. Init strength, how strongly the generated images should reflect the original image and image to image. So we use the top one, and we tried some of the parameters here. You can try them also. Also, Leonardo have a Discord channel. You can also talk with them. What we are using as a base image is this one. We use a house sketch here to create this house from this image. Let's see how it works. And the prompt is we will see the prompt later. Yeah, here. Modern house with green garden, pool outside at night, garden lights. Let's see if it finishes. Still sleeping. Yeah, it downloaded the image. Now let's see image to image. This one is generated. See the sketch? This is very cool. We liked it a lot. As you can see, it resembles the same because we used 0.9. And there is a pool here, so you can create more prompts to fix that, but let me show you a couple I have generated before. This is cool. This is very cool. Yeah, it looks very cool. So out of a sketch, you can generate you can also use this with people. I actually saw this in LinkedIn today. Someone used a sketch to generate a model from that sketch. So we used this sketch to create an house. It is really cool. And I think that's all for today. For the upcoming features, next month we are working on robot alerts that will send alerts if your robot is disconnected or your flow stops and it doesn't work. You will get alerts from that. We will be adding this one. We are still working for the add-ons. You will be able to buy proxy requests from us, CAPTCHA credits, AI credits, so that you won't be needing to register to every service, but just use our service. You can also use our AI credits and CAPTCHA credits to test those services. For example, for proxy is very pricey. You will get lower requests with us to test the proxy, and then you can switch to, if you like, you can switch to and by register them and use their own keys. But we will be adding this feature for our bot store because we will need AI credits. We can't ask anyone using our bots to register to an AI service and give them their API keys to us. So we will be providing AI credits for them inside their user plans. That's what we are planning to do. That's why we are adding this feature. And also we are working on a Robomotion OTP mobile app. This is actually, we needed a lot recently in our enterprise projects. When a portal or a login requires a mobile OTP, we are using our mobile app to pass that. We will release this and you will be able to wait inside your flow just with a node, and the OTP will be forwarded you from a mobile phone to your robot over our server. So it will be much easier to pass OTPs with our tool. So that's all for today's webinar. If you have any questions, I will be glad to answer. Let me also look at the comments, see if I can answer any question. So Les Henderson asks, is there the possibility of creating our own AI resolved CAPTCHAs using your image recognition node? Maybe, but it would be hard, I guess. You can try to classify the images, maybe divide the CAPTCHA images and ask to AI services what they see inside and click the ones. But I don't think it's you can just use the CapMonster for that. It is not very expensive. I think 1,000 CAPTCHA solving is $1. It is very, very expensive. So I just suggest you to use a service. Let me see if there's another question. Oh, yeah, Ben asked what the vector databases you will be implement. So we will start with Chroma, I think. I don't remember the other one. Rohat is working on it, but we will first release the Chroma. That is the best known one and maybe the easiest one to work with. But we can add more. If you have suggestions, we can add other vector databases. Okay. Thank you for attending this webinar and see you next month. Thank you.